minutes or an hour, and I was painting, and then the light was flickering, and I got up and like looked out of the room because I had the door closed.
Right.
So I was playing music and stuff. He was playing video games, so I didn't want to bother him.
Yeah.
And it was like none of the other rooms were, the light was flickering in.
Right.
It was just that one, and like the lamps never really like, I don't know, I guess it had never really done that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just like
a strange electrical surge or what.
Yeah. So that weirded me out a little bit,
Right.
but I was like, I guess that's just how it is.
It's just gonna be like that, I guess.
Yeah. And when I had started painting in that room, there was one like corner of the room
Yeah.
that I felt like, I don't know what it was, but I felt like someone was watching me, like from that corner. And like I hadn't had that feeling in a long time, that feeling of someone watching you. But I like could not shake that feeling, like that someone was just like
that
staring
exposed
at me.
feeling almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why partially I like closed the door because I was like, maybe this is the problem.
Right.
But it was not the problem.
No.
Because I continued to have that feeling.
Right.
And then I started feeling that same feeling in our bedroom, the one across from. Yeah. And it was the same corner of the room.
Yeah.
Just in a different room. And then that continued for a little while.
Gosh.
I didn't go back in there and really paint in there anymore because I was like, that was a little bit.
Yeah.
That was a lot for me.
Right, right.
So I just kind of left it alone, but I kept having that feeling even in my room of like someone is watching me right now. Like I'm uncomfortable. I feel like my space is like being intruded. Right. And that's when like I started having like sleep paralysis and stuff, and like so
describe your sleep paralysis too, because I have stories about that as well.
There was literally just like some nights where I would just like, I don't know if I was actually awake or just like half awake or whatever, but I would wake up and not be able to like really move, and I know I wasn't like fully awake because like if I was fully awake I'd be like able to move my limbs and stuff, but I was just kind of like half awake, I guess, and I felt like it was that corner again. Yeah. And there were some nights where I woke up and I felt like I saw someone there. Like, I know that's probably just my brain, like, playing tricks on me, but honestly...
You say that, but honestly, I've never had that feeling except for a very few amount of times. I'll tell you right now, I was being watched. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So, that's what it was, honestly. But that happened multiple times. And even sometimes, like, I'd have to wake Joe up and be like, please be awake with me for, like, 10 minutes.
Just like a minute.
Yeah, please just be awake. But that, even before I could, like, ask him that, like, I would be laying there for, like, I don't even know how long. Yeah. Just not being able to move, like, feeling just this horrible feeling, and, like, it would make me feel sick sometimes.
So you were physically awake, like, in your head, but you couldn't move your body.
Yeah, essentially. I didn't feel like I was, like, completely awake, though. Like, I felt like my brain had, like, was foggy. Yeah. That's a weird feeling.
No, it really is. And that's what I'm saying, is I've been through that. And
I feel that a lot.
It's freaky.
Yeah.
So did you ever have any visualizations with your sleep paralysis? Because I did. That's why I'm excited to talk about it. I'm also a little freaked out, but.
So, well, like I mentioned, like, I had that, like, figure in the corner. Yeah. In that corner, and then there was one night where I, like, saw a face. Yeah. But, like, my eyes were also open. Yeah. So I don't know if I was, like, my eyes were just open, I was dreaming that face, or, like, but I remembered I did see.
But you did have a visualization with all that.
Yes. Yes. It was like a male face, like an older male. Yeah. And it was really creepy, actually, because it was really close to mine. So that's why I felt like maybe I was just dreaming. But
well, that house itself was a little weird, just because I still can't believe there was
that room, though. Honestly.
Well, the lock on the outside of the bathroom door still freaked me out a little bit.
There was a lock on the outside of the guest bathroom.
Somebody put a lock
on the outside.
Yeah, like one of the ones that you
to keep someone in.
To keep someone into the bathroom, and not like you couldn't lock it on the handle. It was like somebody had like a what's it called? Like a chain.
Yeah, kind of. The chain locks.
The chain locks. Yeah. They have a name.
I don't know what the name is.
Oh my god.
I honestly don't.
I don't. Is it padlock? No, that's not it, because no.
Just the locks with the chains.
You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so it was like a chain lock on the outside of the door, but it was a little strange, and obviously it was taken off by the time that y'all were there, but you could still see the holes from where it had been put there.
There was definitely holes.
And there were other, people who probably should not have been living alone like that lived in there before y'all.
Yeah.
It was rough. Wasn't there, like, didn't you think Joe was in the bathroom with you one day, and it was not Joe?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know how I forgot about that.
I did not forget about that.
I blocked that out.
I did not, because I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, so I was in the bathroom and, like, showering, and the shower curtains that we had, like, we had the clear one to go, like, inside the tub, and then the one on the outside that was, like, but it was, like, a gray color, so you could, like, if you're in the shower, you could see through it.
Yeah.
And I saw someone, like, standing there. Like, I know I saw someone, like, standing there. Because there's no reason there would have been, like, a figure there.
Right.
And not been someone there. So I thought it was my husband. And I was like...
As it should be.
I know. And I was like, hey, Joe. And, like, started talking to him and, like, no response. So
You're like, you okay, bud?
I was like, are you okay? And, like, he didn't say anything. And then, like, I was kind of weird. And I, like... pulled the shower curtain back and there's like nothing there and I was like,
that's the one that got me. As soon as you told me that story, I was like,
well then like I closed it again and it was gone. I was like, I guess I'm never showering again.
I guess I'm just gonna be a dirty bitch.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
No, that would have absolutely like ended me.
Yeah, that one was rough.
That would have been rough.
I definitely blocked that one out.
Trauma.
I did block that one from my memory.
I did not. I remember that one so deeply because I think it traumatized me a little bit that it even happened. I was like,
scary.
It was fucking freaky, man. You told me that and I was like, no.
Yeah, that was...
Because Joe's like, I was not in there.
Yeah,
I was not.
I was like, because I asked him afterwards, I was like, did you come in the bathroom at all? I was showering. He was like, no, I've been in the kitchen the whole time. And I was like, nice.
Nice. Great. That's good.
That's fantastic.
I'm so glad. What you cooking?
Yeah, basically. I was like, so what's for dinner?
Yeah, that house was a little strange. Of course, it did get a lot better, I feel like, after you guys got your cat.
Yes. But, yeah. I mean, there were still some things that, like, that feeling of being watched sometimes.
Well, she was probably just keeping him at bay.
But honestly, like, I had no problems after we got her.
Yeah.
And, like, unless I went in that room.
Right.
So...
He was probably like, fuck the fucking cat. The cat has the rule of the rest of the house, so I guess I'll have to go back to my room.
I did sometimes, because we slept with the door closed.
Yeah.
So, I did sometimes, like, have that same feeling, but, like, whenever we started sleeping, because she was a baby when we got her, and she was very aggressive, like, she would wake you up and, like, jump on your face, so we couldn't sleep with her in this room for a while.
Dangerous.
So, yeah, unless you wanted your face torn up. So, we started letting her sleep with us, like, on the weekends, and that helped, so.
Oh, I bet. She's a hard ass. She kept that ghosty away. So, I'm trying to think what next thing I should probably talk about. I feel like I have too many things now. I guess I'll talk about the haunted house I used to live in next so we can, like...
Haunted houses.
Haunted houses time. So, before I moved into the apartment complex that we are currently staying in, I lived in a house for about 3 years. And, it was my great-grandmother's house. Like, she and her husband lived in it for... Gosh... Probably 60, 70 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it was built initially. Mm-hmm. One family lived in it before them for, like, maybe 5 years, like a few years. Maybe 10 years max. I don't even think 10 years. Probably 5 years.
Yeah.
And then, because they moved into town when town was being built. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, during that, like, the 40s.
Old.
It's not even that old of a town. It was built in the 40s, but it was built in the 40s for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, it was a military town initially, basically. And, so, so they moved in to work down there because a lot of like job openings were coming. So they lived in that house for like 60 or 70 years. They also had a bunch of relatives come stay with them. There was a room in the basement that used to be the room that I don't remember which great-grandparent was. I think it was my great-grandfather's father used to stay in, and I don't know much about him. I never liked that room. We'll put it that way. Of course, it was in the basement. The basement itself was a little uncomfy because noises would come up from it often. And I had roommates a couple different times. And roommates had witnessed a bunch of really awful things. And so I stayed in the room that my great-grandmother and her husband lived in.
Yeah.
And my roommates had been staying in the room that my grandfather grew up in. Mm-hmm. And at one point, we actually had a medium come through. My mom had a friend who has a little bit of a mediumship, and she walked through the house, and she was like, the main house feels okay. And honestly, I never really experienced anything in the main house. She pointed to the basement, and she was like, I would not go down there. I wouldn't go down there.
Yeah.
Period. And I was like, what's down there? And she was like, well, there's not really an entity, but I just feel a really, really heavy negative emotion trapped down there. And I was like, great. Great. That's awesome. The foundation of the house. Lovely.
Yeah.
And then she went over to the room I was in, and, you know, she, again, I didn't tell her where anything was or what any of the rooms were, whose they were. But she went over to that room. She's like, I just feel a really sad person in here. And I was like, okay, don't call me out like that.
Me?
Me, it's me. I am the sad person in that room, okay? And there was a lot of trauma in that house from a past relationship that I had, but before that, it was still, like, not great. And then she went over to the guest bedroom, and she goes, now this room's a little weird. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, again, I don't know that there are entities in this house or not. She's like, I don't know that I feel anything like that, but there was a church across the street from that room, specifically. Like, that room saw into the church across the street.
Creepy.
And that church has always given me a little uncomfy feeling.
Is it, like...
I always felt like I was being watched from a certain staircase on it at nighttime when I was coming home. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It was probably one of the ones that was built like when the place... Time? Yeah, around the same time the house was probably built.
There's probably so much...
Again, that house itself is probably like 80 years old. It's really not even that old if we want to talk like house ages, but like because of the purpose of the town and everything that went on...
A lot can happen in 80 years.
A lot can happen, and I also know that, you know, no offense to my great-grandparents, but they were not necessarily the most happy couple.
Yeah.
Did not always treat my grandfather the way that he probably should have been treated growing up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I don't want to get into specifics because that's in the family, and I'm not here to, you know, air that dirty laundry out. Yeah. But long story short, just was not a lot of positive emotions in that house, I feel like. Bad vibes. And anyway, so the thing is, this medium was talking about how the church across the street was tied to that room specifically because there used to be someone, she goes, this person isn't there anymore. I don't even think they're living anymore. But there was a person that used to watch whatever child lived in this room. And I just got chills talking about it just now because I was like thinking about it. But my grandfather grew up in that room, and he was a little boy in that room, and there was a male presence across the street watching him often, is what she said.
From the church.
She didn't know the story of this house. She didn't know who was in that room or anything. Like, literally. And at the time that she went into that room, I mean, there like a grown woman was living in it. Yeah. So, like, she said there was a little boy and everything. We didn't tell her, like, who the house belonged to beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did not have that much information from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't know what my mom told her beforehand, but I'm pretty sure she was good about that.
Probably just like, can you come on this?
Exactly. But long story short, like, she did do walkthroughs. Now, I did wake up multiple nights where my feet were being grabbed under, like, if my feet had been poked out from under my blankets. Like, it was like somebody was, like, kind of caressing them like this. Is kind of how it felt like. And if, for those who are listening and not watching, I'm like caressing my hand, like that's kind of how it felt. And I would wake up, and I just remember one night I woke up and like into the pitch blackness, and I thought I saw an outline of a person, and I had woken up to my feet being grabbed, and I looked around for one of the cats because I own 2 big cats. Yeah. And I was like, maybe one jumped on the bed. That's why I'm feeling things move around. No, I was alone. The cats were in the living room. They had been asleep the whole time. Like, it was very unsettling. I definitely had a hard time going to sleep that night. It was, like, after that happened, it was really bad. I don't love that house. I'm so glad I'm no longer there. I never want to live there again. I appreciate the opportunity getting to have a place like that for myself.
End of story.
End of story, I'm not doing it again. But, so that was my experience with my house. Anyway,